Welcome back to my channel. You already know it's your boyhood Diggity the Rock Reactor back with another video. Yes, sir. Before I proceed, let me know where you tapping in from. Let me know what country, what city, what mountain, what hill, what cave, what island, what planet, what universe. Let me know where you at. Represent your hood. Yes, sir. Now, Trump. Venezuela's in high heat, man. Venezuela, not Venezuela, just Maduro. This is not about Venezuela. I think Trump just wants Maduro. Now, according to this, Trump, he's made up his mind on Venezuela, but he doesn't want to say. He doesn't want to say what those alternatives are. Or what he doesn't want to say. He basically he's keeping it in the vault, basically. Now, so we all just have to basically speculate on what is he gonna do. But before we do that, guys, if you haven't already, let's take a look at the video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the screen. Let's take a listen. See what Trump got to say.
On Venezuela, sir, you've had a lot of meetings on Venezuela. I know you can't tell us what your next steps will be, but can you say, have you made up your mind on what you'd like to do for as far as action for
I sort of have made up my mind, yeah.
You have.
I can't tell you what it would be, but I sort of made up my mind.
What do you say to some of your supporters who might not be excited about another foreign campaign?
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I can't tell you what it is, but we made a lot of progress with Venezuela in terms of stopping drugs from pouring in. But we have a Mexico problem. We have a Colombia problem. Meaning Colombia, the country. We're doing very well.
See, that's what I said before. He has a bigger problem when it comes to drugs going into the States. He has a way bigger problem from Mexico, and Colombia's like the root of the problem. So how's he going to handle that? And it's a bigger problem.
Drugs coming into our country are greatly slowed, as you can imagine.
On the tariff rollback, sir, does this signal a change on your message for affordability?
Well, I just want to bring down some of the risk. Look, for the most part, the foods, when we cut back a little bit of those tariffs, we'll get the price down. But they're not competitive in this country, like tomatoes and bananas and things. We don't make them in this country. So there's no protection of our industries or our food products. So what we're going to do is we cut back, we'll see prices come down even lower. You have to understand, we've all suffered from the Biden prices, which were much higher than they are right now. But I'll be able to get them down even lower, or at least a little bit lower, possibly in some cases a lot lower.
More rollbacks in the future with your tariff policies? Will it be?
You know, guys, he was talking about the food, and I'd never, when I was living over there, I'd never seen that. Nobody complained about the food going up and the prices going up. That's something that goes down in our countries, like third world countries, like the one I'm in now. But over there, it doesn't happen. But now that it did happen, to have a businessman as a president is a big advantage, because he has that business mind, so he is able to resolve that.
More rollbacks in the future? Will you change anything else with tariffs?
I don't think it'll be necessary. We just did a little bit of a rollback with some foods, like coffee, as an example, where the prices of coffee are a little bit high now. They'll be on the low side in a very short period of time. We're very good at this. The problem is we inherited a country we took over January 20th where the prices were through the roof. So they were up 30, 40, 50%. If we got them down 30%, that means they're still higher than where they were. We had a great 4 years, and I think this is going to be even much better. And in terms of affordability, it's not a good word for the Democrats. It's a good word for us, because our prices are much lower and will soon be much, much lower than they were under the Democrats.
Mr. President, my newspaper, The Telegraph, has led the way in exposure.
Are you the Telegraph?
That's right, sir.
What a job you did. What a job you did. Are you proud of yourselves?
We've had a good
How did we catch ABC like that?
We have good sources.
Honestly, congratulations. You did a great service to a lot of countries, a lot of great human beings, if you want to know the truth. And exposing what fake news is all about, what BBC did. Nobody would even think a thing like that was done. They actually changed
he's suing. I think he has a big lawsuit. I think it was against BBC. I think it was against BBC, and BBC tried to apologize, and he said, "Fuck no, no apologies accepted. I'm moving forward with the fucking lawsuit."
Apologised and retracted the report, but they say they won't pay any compensation.
Well, we'll
Is that
sue them.
enough?
We'll sue them for anywhere between $1 billion and $5 billion.
Oh, my
probably
God.
sometime next week.
Oh yeah, it is BBC. $5 billion.
Ready to take
Well,
you
I
back.
think I have to do it. I mean, they've even admitted that they cheated.
Has that
I mean, not that they couldn't have not done that. They cheated. They changed the words coming out of my mouth.
He's gonna set an example with that shit. And you know, Trump, he hates fake news. You know, he's always talking about fake news. So he's gonna set an example against that.
That's worse than what CBS did with Kamala. They changed her answer, but at least it didn't show it, coming out of her mouth.
Do you think it's appropriate that British TV viewers have to pay more than $200 just for the right to watch television? Do you think the license?
Well, I don't know what they do in a place that I like a lot, the general UK, right? But the people of the UK are very angry about what happened, as you can imagine, because it shows the BBC is fake news. Of course, you and I knew that for a long time, but we didn't know it was this big.
Have you raised the issue with Sir Keir Starmer?
I have not, but I'll call him. I'm going to call him over the weekend. He actually put a call into me. He's very embarrassed by it. I don't know what percentage is owned by the country, but regardless if it's small or large or nothing, I can say this, the UK is very, very embarrassed by BBC, what they did.
Mr. President, you said that your tariffs do not increase prices for consumers, but now you're lowering
I didn't
tariffs.
say they don't. I say they may in some cases, but to a large extent they've been borne by the country. As an example, we have virtually no inflation, and yet we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars. So we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars. We've used tariffs to stop wars. You look at India and Pakistan, look at so many wars I stopped just by saying I'm going to impose tariffs on your country if you're going to have war.
So if tariffs
in that
are
case,
increasing prices-
in that case it was nuclear war, and I stopped it by using tariffs. But oftentimes, and to a large extent, the countries themselves pick up the tab, the companies pick up the tab, and I find that based on inflation, we have virtually no inflation. When I inherited the country from Sleepy Joe Biden, the inflation, it was the highest inflation
Sleepy Joe Biden.
in the history of our country, or at least 48 years. They use 48. I say it was the history. We have now a low inflation, going to be very soon even lower. But we'll get some of the prices down a little bit, which will bring them down to a new level.
How much of the tab is being picked up by Americans?
I think very little. I mean, I really think very little. If you look at it, and when you add the trillions of dollars that our country is making, when you add the fact that I'll be giving back $2,000 or so to middle-income people, low-income people, everybody but the rich will be giving $2,000 back, and you add that in.
Guys, I still want to say that I don't agree with the fact that Trump is just giving those $2,000 payment to just American citizens. I believe that legal residents of the United States, those who have legal green cards, those who have been working in the country for years, many years, some 40, 50 years with a green card, they're not citizens, but hey, they're working, they pay taxes. I believe they should not have been excluded.
When you add the fact that our country is extremely rich and we have no wars and we're respected again, when you add the fact that when China was threatening to us in terms of rare earths, I was able to solve it just by putting tariffs on China, and we made a deal a week later. When you add all of the benefits, the single greatest thing we have right now is the use of tariffs, and I use them properly. For years they've been used against us, and I think,
Trump is using that tariff shit to his advantage. Trump is tariffing everybody. He's tariffing the fuck out of everybody. And he's using it as a weapon.
whether you call them tariffs or anything else, if you didn't use them, you really would have an unguarded disaster in your hands.
money.
Will those $2,000 payments, will that be inflationary? Because previously Republicans said it's sending money to people like under Biden.
Yeah,
which
well, the
like-
difference is this is money earned as opposed to money that was made up. You know, that money was made up. Biden gave like the Inflation Reduction Act, which did not reduce inflation, and it wasn't meant to. And they admitted it was a phony name. But they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on a fake deal called the Inflation Reduction Act. That was made up money. When I pay people $2,000 each for low and moderate income and middle income people, everybody but the rich get this. That's not made up. That's real money. That comes from other countries. Yeah.
Speaking of China, since you made the deal, since you struck the deal with them, has the Chinese agreed to actually purchase any soybeans? Have they locked in any soybean purchases?
Yeah, and they're in the process of doing it. We spoke to them today. They're in the process of doing not only a little bit, but they'll be doing a lot of soybean purchase.
Do you know when? In the spring? Or?
It's starting. Before then, I think before then.
Okay.
It's starting.
Can you say who
They'll
you
be
spoke-
buying a lot of soybeans, but really, Jennifer, a lot of everything else.
Can you say who you spoke with or who your team spoke with?
Top of the line. Top of the line.
Just on the rebate check, sir, how soon could Americans see those checks? Will that be in time for Christmas, holiday shopping?
No, not for this year. It'll be next year sometime.
Do you have a time frame?
No, sometime during the year, next year. It's a lot of money, but we've taken in a lot of money from tariffs. The tariffs allow us to give a dividend if we want to do that. Now, we're going to do a dividend, and we're also going to be reducing debt. We have, because of Biden and others, we have 37 trillion in debt. So we're going to be doing a dividend, which people will enjoy and spend and do what they want. But we're also going to be reducing debt very
But if
substantially.
the Supreme Court was against you, sir, is there
Well, then
any
I'd
plan to...
have to do something else. We'll have to figure something else. That would be a very sad day for our country. We used, just today, I stopped a war. I won't go into which one, but you'll be able to figure it out.
Cambodia, Thailand.
But that was quick, very smart. Thank you. But just today, I stopped a war by the use of tariffs. Oftentimes, I'm able to do that. And if you think of the cost of war, just forget about debt, which is number one.
Trump is trying to stop war using tariffs, man. I wish I would work with the Russians, but Putin ain't trying to have that.
But the death within those countries. But that all comes to our, in one form or another, it all comes right back to us. I stopped the war just today through the use of tariffs, the threat of tariffs. If we didn't have that, other countries would use tariffs on us, and we would have no fair means of fighting.
You know, guys, he went into other stuff. I thought he was just going to talk about the war, the issue with Venezuela. He did go into other stuff. I think Trump's biggest challenge is to stop the Ukrainian-Russian war. The Russian invasion is what I'm going to call it, because it's not even a war; it's an invasion. So I think that's Trump's biggest challenge. He wants to do that, but he wants to do it right. I believe he wants to do it right. He wants to do it from a business perspective. He's also very interested in maintaining the Russian diplomatic relationship. I think he wants to keep a relationship. He doesn't want to break that. I think Trump thinks as a business person. Something else, as far as Venezuela, he's made up his mind. Guys, let me know what you guys think. Where is he going with this? Is he just gonna go on an all-out war and start bombing Venezuelans? Is he gonna do that? I don't think he's gonna do that. I don't think he's gonna take it that far. Well, it depends on how long Maduro wants to take it. And it depends on the Venezuelan armed forces if they want to give him up. I think they're just going to give him up. Eventually, he's going to apply that pressure, and they're going to end up giving him up. Because they know if they go on an all-out war, at the end of the day, it's not going to be Maduro's choice. It's going to be the military's choice. They're going to decide, listen, we can't risk all of our men dying. We can't risk all of our citizens dying. You got to go. That's what it's going to come down to. Because one thing Trump is good at applying that pressure. And if it comes down to it, Trump, he's going to take the gloves off. He's going to do a few bombing, and then they're just going to give up. I think that's what's gonna happen. And eventually, I've always said it, guys. Maduro's done a lot of damage to his citizens. That I see Maduro dying in a prison, whether it's a prison in Venezuela or a prison in the States. Guys, let me know what you think. And of course, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the screen. Peace, love, and God bless.